So what do you do if you can't choose one thing and your mind is full of ideas and things you want to achieve in life and it's a bit overwhelming? Where do we go with that?
Yeah, so that's for so many people that we work with, they are what we call multi-potential, really talented, could do a whole bunch of things and are interested in a whole bunch of things. And those things might be really eclectic. Maybe you're really into climbing and skiing and engineering and architecture and design and doing the hokey cokey, and you don't know how to make a decision about what to do in your career. So we are here to save the day. And first of all, the first thing we're going to do is tell you what you are. You are something very, very special. You are a Renaissance creature. You are what we call a scanner. So the term scanner was created by a woman called Barbara Sher, S-H-E-R, and she wrote some wonderful books about the fact that for so many of us, we've ended up feeling guilty and ashamed because we aren't part of the cult of the specialist. We don't want to just do one thing from birth to death. We want to explore loads of things and make those things happen. But we can really struggle both in terms of our identity, because it's seen as like, you know, you're not committed, you haven't got focus,
A
bit flaky, all those kinds of judgments. And also because sometimes without knowing that that's what you are and how you operate, you don't know how to help yourself to complete projects. So then you start to lose confidence because you've started working on something and then you've got distracted by something else, and you're feeling like, will I ever fully accomplish something? So Barbara did a great job of helping us to recognize Scanner is a really valuable, interesting kind of a person, and you should be proud of who you are. And also gave us some really great coping mechanisms for how to make things happen and how to make decisions about what you do. Because of course you can do loads of things, but not simultaneously, not at a really high standard. So if it's coming to like career decision making or hobbies that you want to get, much further with, you're going to have to make some prioritization choices, and you're also going to have to learn when it's time to stop and when something is, how to get something over the line and get it finished. One of the most useful things I learned about being a scanner, and we're both scanners, is that when you stop, it's not because you just don't have tenacity, but because you got what you came for. So like the example I always give is that I wanted to learn to fly on the flying trapeze. So I went to a circus skills course.
Wow.
And it was really fun. But like within the first 2 sessions, I could tell this wasn't for me. It's really physically challenging in a way that I felt I wasn't really made for. But I was really happy that I went. I took some photos of myself on the trapeze, and that was that. Versus my granny taught me yoga when I was 10. I'm in my 40s now. I've been doing yoga ever since. So it is not the case that you cannot commit to something and stay the course. It's because you got what you came for. Maybe you learned a bit of Italian and that was enough to have a great holiday. Or maybe you've spent 20 years learning Italian and studying texts, ancient texts, and you're not done yet because you're not done yet.
It makes such a difference when you do give yourself permission to stop when you got what you needed, for sure. And I think one of the things that really helped me when I read Barbara's book was this idea that you don't have to do all these things at once, but we are scared as scanners to lose that inspiration. So having she calls it a scanner day book. It's like a journal where just somewhere that you love. And she also talks about having a book or something that you love to write in, where when you've got a bright idea and you're like, today I want to make jewelry, you just grab it. You don't have to do it then, but don't lose sight, because you can come back to them when you've got the energy or the time for it. So that was a really big pickup for me, that I could have somewhere safe that I could go back to and think, oh yeah, I remember that. I want to do, now's the right time to do it.
Yeah, and I think it's really part of this process of learning to respect the ideas that do come to you, that you are always generating and scanning the environment to spot interesting opportunities. And you never know where those things will take you. So you may not pick it up next week. It might be years before you do, but it might be hugely rewarding and at just the right time. So what about this idea of like making difficult choices? How do you choose what to do first? Any thoughts on that?
I think for me, I would say it's about what things begin to align with each other, so that energy and commitment you're making, they can be quite seamless. So for example, if you are, a very creative writer, but you're also an educator, then maybe actually you could write material that's going to educate populations. So you could start to combine some of those passions, because that will then sort of streamline your energy, if you like. So you're doing two things at once.
Yeah.
That's definitely one thing I would say is a tip. What about you?
I think like noticing what's got proximity and what's captured your interest is a good place to start. But I think the other piece that's really useful is about lifestyle. So do you want at the moment to be able to pursue your interests and that to have the lion's share of your time? If you do, how much money do you need that to make, or how much money do you need to make? And then there might be all sorts of designs for how you spend your time in order to keep your focus. But I think the thing that I think is probably most useful is this idea of what is the completion point that you're trying to get to with the project? And if you're someone who's got a whole bunch of projects open or a whole bunch of ideas open, can you choose to commit to just one for, say, like a season, a couple of weeks, 3 months, and go, what is it that I would like to have got done by that point, and focus hell for leather on doing that? Because she tells these amazing stories about people who had a really successful career in engineering, then they became a mountaineer for 10 years and then became a surgeon, things that you wouldn't believe are possible, to do those things at such a high level, and that they're such different things. But what they've managed to do is to collect and respect all of those interests, work out what's the kind of timeline or order in which we do those things. And then on the back of that, first of all, I'm going to only do this, and I'm going to do it till I get to this point, and I'm not going to stop until I get to that point. And then I might drop it and start again. So really recommend checking out Barbara Scher's work. She's got loads of good YouTube videos over the years and lots of fabulous books. But drop in for us. Are you a scanner? Does this relate to you? What are your scanning interests? And how have you managed to make life work for you around that?
Absolutely. Tell us your stories. We want to hear about your scanner stories.